everybody? It's your favorite tattoo artist here, Michael Manarino, and this is By Appointment Only, the podcast about tattoos, why we love them, why we hate them, and the magical relationship between a tattoo artist and the person getting tattooed. Today's special guest, truly a legend. We were just talking about it earlier. He is a barber. He is a drummer. He is a sweetheart. All of these things about him are true. He also is an animal lover. He was drinking Sprite earlier. You have a Heartbreak Kid shirt on. You have a Power Trip hat on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm almost there. One more.
He also has tattoos.
He has. Oh yeah. He has really cool, actually, Shark Week shoes, Van Skate Highs. Robbie's here. Robbie, not the bartender. A different Robbie. We're not going to be getting drunk tonight. We're going to be just talking about normal Christian things.
Sure.
Not getting fucking hammered. Robbie's here. What's up, man? How are you? Thank you for being on the show. Let's hear it.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Oh, see, yeah, this is probably the hardest question of the night. But
telling us about yourself?
yeah, because it's like, how in depth do you want to go?
I mean, hey dog, this is your chance. Go for it. Send it.
You have 45 seconds. Go.
Yeah.
You guys basically broke it down. I'm a professional drummer, a barber at New York Cuts in Highland Park. And
do you think before you met your girl, were you a professional heartbreaker?
what's that?
Before you met your girl, were you a professional heartbreaker?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No.
Now
I'm scared of women.
Okay. This is a good segue into what we're going to talk about because you are or were a good Christian country boy.
Like, real good.
Real good. So you were originally from Bama.
Yeah.
Roll Tide. Shout out Roll Tide. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you grew up in a very religious house.
Yes, very much so.
We're going to talk about that. And for everyone out there, you are not religious anymore, correct?
No, not at all.
Not even a little bit.
You've covered up all my Christian tattoos, so
we're gonna get into that. I can't wait to talk about it. But let's just say, like, if JC were to walk in right now and be like, Robbie, what the fuck, man? Like, would you maybe reconsider?
You know, honestly, if JC walked through this door, I'd probably throw him out that window.
You throw him out the window?
Yeah, dog.
to see if he could fly?
Yeah. Let's see if this shit's real.
But what if he... Okay. All right. You know what? I can't argue with that. Because if he's the real deal and he's the truth, then his ass would just like levitate up and he'd probably like smack you in the face.
Yeah. Then at that point, like, we'll talk. We can have a conversation at that point.
What is it, Corey? I can see you're over there losing
just
it.
Imagine like a fist fight between Robbie and Jesus. Like Jesus just whooping Robbie's ass.
Oh yeah, all day.
I just imagine him like lifting up his little like outfit, like the dressy outfit, the blousey outfit he has, and just dragging his nuts across Robbie's face as he like rises up. Yeah, he's like, what's up now? You can throw me out the motherfucking window.
You know, if Jesus could kick my ass, I would then have a conversation with him.
Dog, he looks pretty frail. Like, I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
Dude. Like dude doesn't lift for sure.
Rick and Morty made him like jacked as fuck. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Because there's like, it's
not like that. There's no way. Nah. DJ Michael Miguel, what's your the most you can bench? 300?
I don't know, actually. I usually just do dumbbells. So the heaviest I've done with dumbbells is 85 for 6.
Okay. In your heart, like look into your heart.
I can do 2 plates for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many plates could Jesus do? None?
Maybe 1.
Damn.
With like his back all like...
Yeah, and his feet like super spread out. Yeah.
I don't know, dog. He was a carpenter.
So... explain to me how bench pressing and building a table are the same thing.
I know a few.
I know some punk ass carpenters. All
right? Yeah. But like the technology today, like they don't have to lift shit. They didn't have shit back then. I'm not saying he's jacked, okay?
I heard he couldn't make a table for shit, so I don't know what you mean.
Hey, that's that Christian country boy coming back.
Yeah.
He's sneaking up. He's like, I'm still here, baby. You can't get rid of me.
Lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm back. Remember
like,
me?
This is that side. This is the side saying, hey, shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it. Let's talk
right.
about some stuff. Let's talk about tattoos and art and drumming and religion and all that fun shit.
Let's do it.
So tell me, you're a little boy. You're living in Alabama.
Mississippi.
I'm sorry, Mississippi. Yeah. And then you were in Alabama.
Yeah.
So you're in Mississippi. What were your first experiences with like art and music? And when did you realize that you were, in a sense, sensitive to music and it was something that you were in tune with? Because obviously being a drummer, you have to really be in tune with rhythm and beats and all that stuff. When did you first feel that?
So growing up down south, where the town that I grew up in was 400 people. That was the population of the town I was in. So like, and like we didn't have cable or internet. So it's like we literally just had just the things around us, you know? So we would go to church, and the church would be like, the first church I went to that I remember was like, instruments are of the devil, because the devil was Lucifer. He was the angel of music.
For sure.
In heaven, he would
Wait,
praise and worship.
is that a thing that Lucifer was like the angel of music?
He was like the angel of praise and worship. So like he was like, yeah, it was essentially music, just like music praising God. And then he wanted to be bigger than God, so he was cast down to hell when
Yes.
he became the devil. So there's like a subgroup of Christians that believe that like instrumentation is not what God wanted for worship, because he cast Lucifer out.
Okay.
So I grew up listening to like a lot of like my mom listened to the corniest fucking Christian acapella music.
It was like Jesus, like that kind of vibe.
But it was like fools that were like, hey, how can we appeal to the younger crowd?
Oh,
And so they're like singing these fucking like, you know.
can you try to give me an example?
Like,
oh,
you know, like
boy.
doing like beats and shit with their mouth and shit. And I'm like, what's the difference in like imitating a drum set or like a melody rather than just like playing a drum set or a melody? So like I would be listening to these corny songs, just like,
Okay.
you know, just like, you know, hitting my thighs or like hitting the tables, you know, hitting the pews at church. And then we started going to another church, and that church was like, instruments are cool. God loves instruments. And they're like, we noticed that your son, he definitely looks like he's going to be a drummer. Like he can't sit still. Like he's always hitting the pews and stuff. So they're like, I was 7 years old, and the pastor was like, I'm going to give you $50. Go buy your kid a drum set. We want him to play for the church.
Okay.
That never fucking happened.
Your parents just finessed the $50?
No. I never played for the church. My
Okay.
mom went and bought me a drum set for all of us. I was the only one that like, me and my older brother were like the only people that actually stuck to it. And now I'm just like literally the only one fucking 27 years later, like still doing it, you know? But
Do you feel like when you were in church, like hearing that music, and whether it's like the a cappella stuff or the things that were actually being like church music, do you feel like you had some sort of connection to it, or was it strictly like the beat and the rhythm that you were connected to?
So I was always really confused about it, because like I said, these churches would say the instrumentation is like not what God intended for music, but they got an old lady playing the piano while we're singing. So
Yeah.
it's not like 100% a cappella, but there's no like bass line or guitar licks or, you know, drum grooves or nothing. Oh, sorry. What was your question?
Do you feel like you felt connected to the music both lyrically and musically, or was it strictly just the rhythm that you felt a connection to?
Oh, it was definitely just musically. Cause
Yeah.
like I remember specifically when I started going to the other church that had instrumentation, a lot of the like old school gospel, like Baptist hymns are like,
Yeah, that stuff's really
like
fun.
country swing, you know?
Yeah. So you're like doing it right away, real easy.
Yeah. But there was this drummer who was like 4 or 5 years older than I was. And he would like be playing, you know, like that, dude, Jack. And it's this like old school song called The Blood of Jesus. Obviously, like every Christian song is like,
Yeah, it
Hell
has to do
yeah.
with Christ's blood.
the blood
And,
of the lamb. But it was like that beat right there. And then he like went straight back to it, and he did this like breakdown, like syncopated, like 4/4 like beat. And I was just like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. Like he went like straight from this like country swing to like a,
yeah.
and I was like, that's sick. And that moment right there was like, yeah, I want to do that.
And that's really cool. And it's really dope that I think in that moment, like a lot of creative people do, they have that second where they're like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And this is something that is moving me or touching me or making me taking me away from this situation that I'm not interested in and making me interested in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really dope. And that's a very common thread amongst a lot of creative people in my experience.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, and I just want to say in advance to everybody out there, if you're religious, if you're Christian,
Think again.
God damn. Maybe that. That was really.
I'm sorry. I completely forgot where we were.
You're like, I was hanging out with them amongst friends. If that's your vibe, that's your vibe. Maybe this isn't the episode for you. You know, like I'm not religious at all. I went to Catholic high school. It was a really whack experience. Nothing like what you grew up with, but it's just not for me. And I think the people that out there that like have a really deep relationship with like Christ or the church or whatever, that's cool. You do you. Maybe this isn't going to be the one to listen to. I'm sorry, I guess, whatever. But let's talk about what was it like for you? Because I think there's a lot of people out there that had kind of unique upbringings. Mm-hmm. What was it like for you that was someone growing up as a kid in a very, very religious home and seeing things like art and music and tattoos or whatever? How did that affect you? Did it give you kind of like a fear of those things, or do you think they were sinful, or did it draw you towards them?
Yeah, kind of. Because growing up in the church, you're taught that everything you do is meant to glorify the Lord, like glorify God in every aspect of your life is meant to glorify God. And so it's like when it came to stuff like art or music, tattoos was completely out of the question. But when it came to like art and music, it was like, I remember my mom specifically, every time I wanted a CD and like, I knew it wasn't Christian, but I was trying to just like finesse it because it was like, just because it's not Christian doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
You know, she would take the CD and she would read every one of the song titles and be like, that doesn't sound like it glorifies God. You know,
So question,
yo,
when you have the Kanye CD and it says Jesus walks, is that okay?
well, I would never listen to Kanye.
Okay. There you go.
So, but my mom would have loved it. I'll just tell you that my mom would have loved it.
Trying to find loopholes in this for you.
Yeah.
Would you say like would you like give her like a Slayer album and you're like no it's they're actually glorifying God? Like you would take like God hates us all and be like no it's like it's like a joke.
Yeah.
Like he hates us because he loves us.
To be honest, it was like I remember specifically a few times I wanted Green Day's Dookie album.
A great album.
Great album.
It was actually the first piece of music I ever bought for myself.
Nice.
Dude, me too.
You too?
Aww.
Hey! I don't really like Green Day anymore, but it was good at the time.
Yeah.
Not even no. God, no.
Yeah. But they had like, you know, Basket Case was on that album.
And she was like, that's a crazy person. I don't like that.
Yeah, she's like, a basket case is like, I didn't know. I was like fucking 8 or 9 years old. Like, I didn't know what a basket case was. I just thought the song was dope. Saw the video on MTV and was like, I want that, you know? But like, she took the album and like was reading the songs and she's like, and one of the lyrics is smoking is my inspiration. And she's like, no, you're not getting this album.
It's not happening.
Not happening. No.
Damn.
And then another album was I really wanted what the fuck is that band? Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
I don't even know that
They're a
band.
fucking Christian band.
No, they're not.
They're not?
They have I'm not going to say yes or no, but like the reason my mom didn't let me get that album is cuz like the first or second song, the one that had do you feel that good?
Yeah, face down. Yeah.
One of the songs was Damn Regret.
Oh.
And she's like, there's the cuss word in that song.
That's wild because they have like an entire song called like My Guardian Angel on that record. That's like,
well,
I don't know.
you could do
Hella
the
Christ.
same thing to Paramore where they had the song Hallelujah, but
Yeah,
they're
they were low key Christy back then too.
oh
so.
yeah. I feel like everyone was trying to hop on that train at that time.
That shit was money, baby.
Dude, you're telling me, dog.
Okay, wait. I have a question. I was talking about Paramore earlier. And I know
Okay.
you're a Paramore fan. Yeah. You're a Paramore fan?
Yeah.
Okay. Just help me understand better. Is Paramore actually good? Or is it just that the production is so like clean and crisp and perfect that it can't not be good? Like, is that because listen, you're a musician. you know, the production on every Paramore song is immaculate. Like almost like crystal clear, crisp.
They got that money.
I know, they got that Paramore money. Is that what makes it so good, or are they actually good?
So, you know, that's actually a really good question. But I'm going to say yes, that they're good, because like it was like literally like a week ago, I was on YouTube just doom scrolling videos, and I saw like, I don't know if you know the backstory of Paramore at all, or like any of their members, but like their first drummer, Zach Farrow, he was in the band for like a really long time. Amazing fucking drummer. He quit because he was super young. He was something like, I think he was like 14 when they did their first tour and released their first album. So he was like full-time world touring by 14. You know what I mean? So like
too young to be doing that shit.
Yeah, he quit like years after because he's like, I just want to have like a normal life for a second. And they could never find a consistent drummer. Not that they couldn't find a good drummer. Like Aaron Gillespie from Under Oath played with them at one point, but they could never find a drummer that they could hold on to for like an extended amount of time. It was like they were going through drummers every fucking tour. And then like Zach came back, and then they just like changed their sound and like took over the game again. And he like,
And since he's been back in the band, it's like some of the best music they've ever put out.
Really?
Yeah.
So he like got a life, and they were like, hey dog, why don't you get some money?
Yeah.
And now their shit sounds good.
And now they're like, hey, do you want to come to Europe and open up for Taylor Swift? And he's like, yes, absolutely.
yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, they're like one of the, it's funny, we're going to kind of get back to the biggest band in the world thing. We're going to talk about that for a little bit, and I'm really excited for it.
Oh God.
But we'll get to that. That's
Okay.
another question for another time. So
We're veering a bit.
it's been made very clear that your mom was very religious, very particular.
Yes.
How on earth were you able to finesse your way into getting tattoos?
Okay, so yeah, we're skipping ahead like 12 years here, but that's totally fine.
So, okay, this is your little boy.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing music.
Mm-hmm.
I know you had a Christian band with your brothers, right?
Yeah, so my oldest brother wasn't, even though he was living in a Christian household, he wasn't actually a Christian until he like moved away to college. Like,
Oh, no shit.
yeah, like my parents split, and my brother had to grow up way too fucking early. So he was always just like a rebel without a cause. And I was like, that's badass. I want to be just like him, you know, wearing black all the time. He was listening to metal when my mom was listening to that like dumbass acapella shit. And he's like listening to like Avenged Sevenfold and As I Lay Dying and Trivium. And I'm like, that shit sounds tight. Like that shit's tight. So he kind of introduced me to like, and you know, kind of sideways as well. My dad's like a big rocker, but I didn't live with my dad. So like I would only visit him, you know, a couple times a year. So my older brother had a huge influence on like my early developings as like getting into metal. And like a lot of the posters he had on his wall of these metal bands, they had like tattoos, you know, it's like the early 2000s.
Oh yeah.
So like sometimes those tattoos are like mad fucking corny, but it's like it's still a tattoo, and that's like really fucking cool.
And it still
to,
looks
like,
cool
to like a 9-year-old, you know what I mean? Like that's cool.
I think Corey and I have talked about this before, but I mean, so many like late 90s, early 2000s hardcore dudes looking at their tattoos and being like, yo, this shit is tight as fuck. And then like 20 years later, I'm like, those tattoos are terrible.
Well,
Absolutely terrible.
It wasn't even hardcore. Like it was metal. Like,
What
I
do you
didn't
remember a
even-
specific band? Do you remember like any?
Avenged Sevenfold from ages like 9 to like 14 was my favorite band of all time.
Okay, can we talk about it now? Current Robbie,
Uh-huh.
are you willing to say that Avenged Sevenfold is not good?
Dude, you know what?
What? Robbie, what?
So the last tour that I went on, I was opening for Sleeping with Sirens, and they were playing a festival date in Columbus, Ohio that we weren't playing. And they were like, hey, since you guys have the day off, if you guys want to come to the festival with us, like we'll get you in with us. You can just hang out. We'll go watch some bands together, and then we'll just like fucking kick it till the tour goes back on. And we're
Okay.
like, that sounds awesome.
Here comes Avenged Sevenfold.
Well, I didn't even look up who was playing, because I was like, we're probably just gonna be hanging with the dudes, and like I'll just see who's playing when I get there to see if I even fucking care. But like, it's just cool getting to hang with these dudes, you know?
Yeah.
But we get there, and they had just finished playing, and Kellen comes up to us and is like, yo, Avenged Sevenfold's about to play the main stage. Like, we got a private booth in the stadium. Let's go see him. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Hadn't listened to him since I was like a teenager. I felt like they kind of fell off after they started doing the whole like biker thing. And started like sounding like Metallica, because you know how I feel about Metallica. We'll get there.
Robbie hates capital H hates Metallica.
Lars is overrated. Lars is overrated.
Oh yeah,
he is.
Lars can suck an ass.
Yeah, Metallica is mad. Whatever.
Yeah. But so we get to the stadium, and they're like playing a lot of their old shit that I like fell in love with them from, and I'm like, dude, this is so crazy seeing them in a stadium right now, because like the first time I ever saw them was like a 250 cap venue opening for As I Lay Dying, and I'm like, they were my favorite band then, and I just didn't even care. I was just so blown away by seeing them, you know. And then I get there, and it was just like a wave of nostalgia. But then they started playing some of their newer shit. Now,
and I bet it fucking sucked, huh?
Well, I'm not gonna say that like all of their new shit is good, but like they got some hits, dude. And like when you listen to, I'll put it like this: I did not like 21 Savage when he first started coming out.
Okay,
but
we're gonna make a comparison to 21 Savage and Avenged Sevenfold.
When I started listening to him more and like his flow and his style, I was like, I get it.
21.
I get it.
21.
Yeah, 20. I get it.
Okay.
Like I like this shit. So it's like when you're listening to them, it's like Avenged Sevenfold is a band, and like they like their new shit is like heavily influenced by like old school classic rock, but like when you understand their flair on classic rock, like that band's gonna live forever.
Okay.
Like people 45 years from now are gonna be like how Metallica is now. They're gonna be like that with Avenged Sevenfold. I guarantee it.
Damn, that's crazy. That I'm a little bit surprised, because maybe I've just done so many winged skull tattoos a la Avenged Sevenfold, where I'm just like, man, this is not for Michael.
Dude, if I started getting tattooed at 17, but if I would have got some of the tattoos that I wanted when I was 14, I would have 1000% had the death bat.
Dude, Sarah was like a year off of like just for sure death bat lower back tattoo. Like,
dude,
for sure.
And it's so funny because like a couple years ago, I was helping a homie of mine like film a music video. I was just like doing BTS stuff with my GoPro and my camera, and his vocalist had like, he's a grown ass man, and he got it like, he didn't get it when he was a teen. He got it like
a few years
recently.
ago. Yeah.
He had the death bat tattoo on his chest, and I was just like, what a fucking nerd.
Corey, is that how you'd feel about Sarah if she had the death bat on her lower back? Would you be like, what a fucking nerd?
I would never feel that way about Sarah, because I love her more than anything in the entire world.
Yeah, that's a good husband right there. That's what's up. All right, so let's talk about this.
Okay.
So there's two things that I am curious about, and I'm sure like even for the people listening and maybe someone that's in a little bit more of a situation where it's a controlling, perhaps religious parent.
Okay.
Number one, how are you able to finesse your way into playing music?
Okay.
And two, how are you able to finesse your way into having tattoos?
Okay. So into playing the music, like I said, my brother had a huge influence on the music I was listening to. And like I said, he was a rebel without a cause. So
would your mom like trip about the fact that he was into metal and he would have like Lamb of God or As I Lie Dying or whatever posters on the wall? Or he was just like, fuck you, Mom.
He didn't give a fuck.
Sick, respect.
He was like, at any moment, I'm going to leave here, like, and I'm not going to come back. And my mom was afraid of that. So she would like
back off,
you know? And so like when my mom bought that $50 drum set that the pastor gave her, my brother immediately went and bought a double pedal. So I learned drums without a single pedal. I didn't learn how to properly use a single pedal till like 4 years ago, dog.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah. So
do you think that your brother was like, given the fact that like you left the South, you're not religious, you live in LA, you're a touring musician, you're a barber, like do you think when you look back on your life he was probably one of your biggest inspirations?
You know, I do now. Like looking at these questions that you sent me this morning, I was just like, man, these are some questions I've never been asked before, but it's like I've never had to think about the answer to these most of these questions.
That's what we do here, baby.
And I'm just it's great. I love it.
We do the good questions, the hard-hitting, emotional tat questions.
Yeah. And I don't think he ever realized it, but yeah, he was a huge influence on like my early in terms of art, music, and tattoos. Because tattoos, you know, how did I finesse my way into my mom letting me get tattoos? So my brother moved away to college, and he started fighting mixed martial arts, and every mixed martial artist has like tattoos, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I've tattooed many
And so
of them.
he's like at his gym working out every day, and everyone's just like super fucking tattooed up, and he's white dog. He's clear. So he's like, so he's just bright, you know, no tattoos. And he's like, I think I want to he's like, I pay my own bills. I do my own thing. I'm going to go get a tattoo. And he got a little tattoo around his ankle of a song that him and his buddy wrote in their first band together.
That's cool.
Yeah. And when he came and visited, like the first time after he got that tattoo, my mom like bawled her eyes out. She's crying. She's like, what have I done?
He's going straight
like,
to hell. The hottest seat in hell is being saved for him.
And then he kind of just like turned it around to just like, hey, you know, I've been staying here for the past 3 days and you didn't notice this tattoo till today. So you can obviously see that I am still me. This tattoo has nothing to do with the way that I think, the way that I act. I wanted to get this and I got it.
Yeah.
I'm still me. And it like blew my mom's mind. And then like a few weeks after that encounter,
You move that fan a little bit?
yeah, it's like my eyes are just like,
It's very hot in the studio. We have to close the windows because the fucking junkyard for some reason is doing some after hours 9 o'clock.
They're putting
at
in
night.
overtime this
Yeah, they're
week.
putting in overtime. It is just so everyone knows we are podcasting in a fucking sauna so that we can bring you this hot content
hot.
about drumming and religion and all this fun shit. But at any
All
rate,
this fun shit.
so you talk to your mom. You're
so-
kind of like seeing the path now. Like I can finesse my way into this.
Well, I mean, to be honest, when I saw that my brother did that, I was like, there's my out right there.
Yeah.
I was like, if I don't get anything while I'm living with my mom, like once I start paying my own bills and being an adult, like
It's on.
it's game over. But
Yeah.
basically a few weeks after that encounter of like my mom seeing the tattoo for the first time, she went to work, and there was like she used to work as an optometrist assistant, and there was this like mother-daughter that came in, and the daughter was like the same age as my older sister. She was a senior, or she just graduated high school and she was about to go to college. And they both had like a matching tattoo on their wrist. Couldn't even fucking tell you what it was, but they had like matching tattoos on their wrist. And excuse me, my mom was like, that's adorable. I love that. Like, why did you guys do that? And she's like, oh, like, you know, we got this tattoo because, you know, my daughter's about to move away to college, and I'm going to miss her. And it's a little something to just bring us together. And God forbid anything happens to her, we will be able to identify her by the matching tattoos we have. So my mom just breaks down. She's like,
So she's getting like in like less than a 6-month period, back-to-back positive tattoo experiences.
Yeah.
Her whole world is turned fucking upside down.
yeah. And so when I was a junior in high school, I was 17, and in Alabama, you can get tattooed at 16 with your parents' consent. And my littlest brother was 16, and he was the youngest one of us. So all of us were over the age of 16. And so my mom and my mom was moving to Montana, and I was like, fuck that, I'm not moving to Montana. So I was moving in with my dad for my senior year of high school, and basically the family was splitting up.
Okay.
And so my mom was like, I want to buy us all a tattoo so we can like have that. Like, I want what that mother and daughter had, but for all of us. So like,
Which is incredible. I mean,
it's the only Christian tattoo that you haven't covered up, just for the basic reason of like, everyone in my family has this tattoo.
Which
it's
one
my
is it?
first
Which one
tattoo,
is it?
And I designed it. It's this one here.
oh yeah, I know.
I got my shoes on, but the word right there.
Why don't you tell everyone out there in podcast land what the tattoo's of, what it looks like?
So everyone in my family has the word agape. It's so funny to say because I don't believe in God, but it means it means Christ's love in Greek, like Christ's unconditional love. We all have it on our right ankle.
And do you feel like your mom was like, we have like completed the circle, like we are a family, Christ love, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, and then 2 weeks later, like, we're all gone.
Okay, so this is not on the questionnaire, and we don't have to get into this if you don't want to. But I like to ask this question. I asked our dear friend Andy Arbo the same question.
Hit me with it.
Yeah, shout out Andy. Do you feel like your parents' divorce messed you up?
Ooh. You know, I never really thought about it. I was super young.
Dog, what do you think?
Well,
What
now
do you
you're
think
gonna
about
be
all
up all night thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, you're like, is this a therapy session, dog?
It can be if you
Like,
wanted to.
I need to lay down and just, my mom.
If that's too heavy, we can move on to the next thing.
Honestly, like I've always had some type of like attention deficit. As
ADD, as it is known.
people in the podcast will see if you watch this from front to back, we have, and it's my fault, we have veered. Oh, so that's
No,
just,
it's okay. I like it. It makes for a fun
so,
episode.
to be honest, I just never really thought about it. My parents were really good at the whole, like you've seen in movies where like young kids, their parents are splitting up and they're like, why? You know, and it's just like, oh, you know, mommy and daddy just
They fell out of love.
yeah, you know, or just like, you know, we're still really good friends. Like you're gonna have 2 Christmases.
The whole 2 Christmas thing. They always try to sell you on the 2 Christmas thing.
All right, guys, you want the good news or the bad news first? Good news is you were gonna have 2 Christmases. Bad news is you're spending every other weekend at your dad's house.
It, honestly, producer Corey, it never stops being funny. We've said that joke like 6 times tonight, and it never stops being funny. All right, Robbie.
That's my thing. I get one good one off, and I just
That's a really good one.
It's great.
All right, Robbie. Let's do this. Let's talk about, and not necessarily for you. Oh no,
Ice Cube. We're
the
good.
Ice Cube got you.
Yeah.
The boy's
that's
choking on
cool.
his Sprite.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
What are, and just subjectively, your favorite and least favorite Christian tattoos? Because let me tell you, have done a lot of Christian tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
That's everyone's prerogative. That's what you want to do. You were looking at the thing that Emily did. The tribal cross that says Jesus across it.
Yeah.
Dude clearly loves Jesus.
Yeah.
That being said, yeah, JC.
Jesus Christ.
Tell me one that's your favorite, one that's your least favorite.
Okay. You know, I would say my favorite one is I've seen it, and I'm sure you've done one, like, but the first time I saw it was when I had just moved to LA. There was a band that we used to tour with back in Alabama called Nothing Till Blood. And they were signed to Face Down Records, and you know, Face Down Records does Face Down Fest every year.
I've been to Face Down
in
Fest.
Pacoima. So like, it's like, oh shit, that's what's up. Like, we live in LA, we can go see our homies. And my buddy was the bassist. His name's Matt. He had just got his whole torso done, and when he showed it to me, it was the stone cross with like the angel.
Oh, the Rock of Ages.
Yeah, and there was like a giant wave crashing over it. So it was this whole like beautiful scenery, and it was just like, that's sick.
Yeah,
dude.
those are
Like,
really cool.
that's
I've also
beautiful.
seen a Frog of Ages, and it was a frog up against the cross. And I've also seen a Star of David. It was a Star of David of Ages, which was really sick. But my personal favorite was the Cock of Ages, and it was a big stone dick with like a girl holding onto it. That is a real tattoo.
That is a real tattoo.
That's a real tattoo that I've seen.
Shout out to that guy.
Someone I know.
In person or online?
No, I know this person. I know this is their back piece.
Love that.
And it is literally a huge veiny stone dick,
Veiny triumphant
water
bastard.
crashing around it, and then there's like a sinking ship in the background, and there's a woman holding onto it, and then there's a banner across her shoulders that says Cock of Ages.
That's probably the best thing I've heard all day.
This person's like a full-blown psychopath. Like there's no way they're gonna hear this, but it's still like,
oh wow, that's crazy.
if they heard us laughing about their back piece, they'd be like, every single one of you's dead. Like every single one of you I'm putting in the ground.
Well, I did
Just
say
want you to
shout
know
out
I
to
didn't
that
laugh.
guy,
I
so,
wasn't laughing. There was no laughing.
I was. You're laughing. I'm not laughing.
Yeah, exactly. No, you guys are the ones that laugh, not me.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your sleeve that I'm blasting over. And kind of a little bit of a religious vibe. Oh, you gotta tell me your least favorite Christian tattoo first.
Okay. Oh, every fucking person down south
Okay.
that when they turn 18, they're like, I want to get me a tattoo. And so
Just like that.
yeah, dude. So like they try to get something that like their parents will be proud of rather than like what they're proud of.
Okay.
So they just want a tattoo. That's plain and simple. It's like, just get the fuck over it. Get something you want. Anyways, that's besides the point. Everyone gets either like the praying hands or just like the basic ass cross with Philippians 4:13 over it. Oh. Now, if you would have asked me like 10 years ago what that verse was, I would have been like telling you the exact right answer. But I couldn't tell you what it is now. But I know it's Philippians 4:13.
Do you remember any scripture? Like, what's John 3:16?
John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, for whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life.
Bars.
This is a Christian boy right here. Straight up country Christian boy. He knows. That's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the sleeve.
Okay.
And we're blasting over it now. It's not your favorite. What led you to doing like kind of a more, do you feel like at the time you were like, well, I'm still fucking with Christianity, but I want to do something that's kind of cool? Because it's not poorly done.
Yeah.
It's just imagery that you're not fucking with.
Well, to begin with, it wasn't exactly, I've told you this story, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. And the piece is more so like Christianity was like the undertone. Okay. But like the words on it are guide me towards the light and then I will always survive, which is lyrics from a Trapped Under Ice song.
Shout out TUI, Do or Die.
Yeah, dude, till I fucking die. I love Trapped Under Ice.
Corey, where are you at on TUI as a hardcore guy?
Tight.
You fuck with them?
Very tight.
Do you like all the? Do you like? Where are you at on the spinoffs?
They're cool. They're cool. I mean, like I wasn't like I didn't listen to what was it, Diamond Youth or whatever a ton.
That was all right.
Yeah, they were cool.
Right.
It was cool though.
It was fine.
And then what's the other one? There's another one.
Angel Dust.
Angel Dust. That's cool.
They're fine.
It's fine.
Someone was just telling me that Justice like looks like John Lennon now. That he
does.
He does
very much so.
with gold teeth.
What's going on with that?
I feel like it's like something that everybody's kind of doing now. With it, that we're aging out of wearing graphic tees and chilling. Like you're doing it in your own way. You're doing a lot of button ups, my guy.
Damn, you got me.
Yep, there you go.
You got me. It's that's
locked up.
Yeah, straight up. Throw that TUI shirt away. Trade it in for a silk tiger print shirt.
You look good as shit.
Thank you. Real quick. You or Justice, who's gonna win a fight?
What? Who?
You and Justice, who's gonna win the fight?
Oh, probably Justice.
Think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got that Baltimore heat though.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Have you ever been to
I'm
Baltimore?
old. I'm fat.
No,
fine.
but I've heard it's bad.
Oh my God, bro.
Hectic. Okay, so let me ask you this, okay? Before you, let's finish the story about your sleeve.
Okay, yeah.
And then let's talk about tour.
Okay.
And I want to know about your first times touring because there are a lot of people out here listening to the podcast or otherwise that are like want to be touring musicians, whether it's being in a metal band or doing rap or doing pop or whatever. Like being a musician is as big as it's ever been.
I've got stories.
I know you've got stories. And at some point, I think sometimes people have to be realistic about it. That being on tour, by and large, from what I've heard, is not that cool. Yeah. And at first, especially when you are unknown or unsigned, it's a fucking grind. So I think that's something that's really important for us to talk about. But let's get to the sleeve thing first.
Okay, so the sleeve. It was inspired by Trapped Under Ice, and it's a basic fight between good and evil. For those who can't see it, it's a Grim Reaper up top here,
which is sick,
battling a warrior angel that looks more like a Viking than an angel.
Yeah, that's what we've been blasting over. We've been blasting over that
braided
part.
Beard on it. I'm like, all right, whatever. But basically, what happened is like, I mean, I just used to be a pushover. I had already given this guy like $800 to design the tattoo, and the first thing he sent me, I was like, would you put that on your body? Like, that looks awful.
Was it bad?
It was bad, dude. Like, when I told him exactly what I wanted, you know, a Grim Reaper fighting a warrior angel, and he drew me like a little squire boy and like some like heavily fitted armor that's like gonna fall off of him, you know? It looked like the Sword in the Stone. You remember King Arthur when he's got all that armor that like the little kid that's gonna fall off, you know?
Yeah.
And like a bowl haircut, like the squire bowl haircut, you know? And I'm just like, yo, not feeling that. We had already gone back and forth like fucking 6 times on designs, and like he was a homie, so it wasn't just like a random tattoo artist that I was like, I saw your shit on Instagram, I like it, I want to get tattooed by you. It was like I saw him at shows, he knew my band, like we had developed a rapport, and then I was like, yo, you do traditional work, I want American traditional. He's like, sick, let's do it. So it was like we had already gone back and forth like 4 or 5 times on the design, and I had already given him like $600. And to be fucking honest, I should have not spent that money to begin with. Like, don't spend your money on tattoos if you don't have money to spend on tattoos.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the fucking truth?
So it's like I could have, at that point in my life, like that $600 was like the differential between like, am I getting evicted or not?
So why did you get tattooed instead? Because you just wanted them?
Wanted it, dude. Like I shouldn't have done it. You know, looking back now, I shouldn't have done it. But it's not a bad tattoo. It just wasn't exactly what I wanted. And then like when he showed me a design that was this, and I was like, that's fine. Let's just fucking do it and get it over with because I want it done.
Does it feel weird blasting over it now? Like since we've been doing we did like the skull with the dagger, we did the scarab, we did the scorpion. Does it feel weird being like, motherfuck, I'm tattooing over this? Or are you happier this way?
No, I don't really feel any type of way about it. It's like
because I feel like when I met you, you were like, yo, this shit's got to go.
Well, this was one that I like, I want it to go, but like the first tattoo you did on me was covering up a Christian tattoo that I had.
The he is greater than I thing? Yeah. That's, you know what? I don't.
And then you did the little
baddie. The little baddie
right here.
That's
so
right.
Like, yeah, I love this thing.
I've been tattooing you for a minute.
Yeah, dude, a solid
It's
minute.
sick. I fuck with it. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah. But like the main ones that you covered up, because like you didn't even do the cover ups on this until you covered this one up and you covered up my chest.
Yeah.
Like those were the main ones that I was like, these need to die.
Because you were like covered in Christian tattoos. Or just like shit you weren't really feeling.
Yeah. And then this one is like, it can be taken Christian if you want it, but like no one's gonna look at that and be like, that's a Christian tattoo. So like, you know, you've done these, but we've done
a bunch of other
so
cool
many
shit.
other things because it's like I have so many other spots that I need you to fill up, you know, but we're gonna keep getting there, you know, we're gonna keep chipping away at it. But
I love it.
Yeah, it was just basically that barbed wire you did was so sick, dog.
I'm so glad you like it. Shout out barbed wire.
That's fucking
Shout out barbed wire tattoos. Well, we're gonna get to the tattoo thing in a second.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everyone out there about your first days touring? So you've been like, you're in church, you get the drum set, getting inspired by your brother. You're playing drums, you're playing in bands. I know you started playing Christian music, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I started in like a praise and worship band at church.
And then after that, when you had like your own band, we're writing our own music. What kind of music was that?
It was Christian metalcore.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And after that, was that the band that you first toured with, or was it a different band?
No, that was my first. It was my first band ever, and it was also the first band I toured with.
Okay, cool. And what was that like? Like, how old were you, and what was it like being on the road, getting in a tour van, doing the thing?
We started the band when I was 16. Yeah, I'm trying to think when we did our first tour. I think it was like I was 17 when we did our first tour.
Okay, like I feel like that's kind of a normal time to do your first tour.
Yeah. It was really cool. No, it wasn't actually. It was cool.
It was not cool.
It was cool to a 17-year-old. To a 30-year-old, that is not fucking cool.
Was it just like super broke, no money?
I mean, to be honest, it was like some of the most fun times of my life. Like, I'm out with like 5 of my best fucking friends, like, and we're just doing this shit.
Just
and
doing
it's fun. We slept in the van every single night. The first tour we ever did was like 2 weeks long. We were based in Alabama at the time, but we went to like Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Georgia, and Florida.
A very southern tour.
Very fucking southern tour. And it was like July, and it's Florida, so it's fucking hot
and humid
and so humid. One of my favorite fucking memories from that tour, because one of the questions that you had were like, what got you into tattoos or something, or like, but this tour and this very date of that tour was like, I will never forget this thing, because there was a whole DIY tour. We did it all ourselves.
Okay.
We booked the whole thing ourselves, but there was like 3 dates that we were like, we really want to play 3 dates like northern, central, and southern Florida. Like we really want to do those, but we just can't seem to get any emails back from any venues or other bands and whatnot. So there was this dude, at that time we had actually got asked to play the Warped Tour in Atlanta, Georgia. And so we put that into our first tour, which was like rad, you know? And then when we announced that we did that, like we started getting some traction. People started noticing us. And this dude from Artery, I think it was Artery Global or something, like a booking agent. He was like new. He's like, hey, like I want to work with you guys. And we're just like, hey, as like a testament to like, if you want to work with us, can you just help us book these 3 Florida dates? And so he does. And we're like, sick. That's fucking rad. He just booked us these 3 Florida dates. If these go great, we got ourselves a booking agent, you know? The first Florida date we show up to, we had already done Warped Tour and done all the other Southern dates, but we just had Florida left to do. It was in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, I've been to Fort Lauderdale. It's not cool.
No, it's not.
It's super not cool.
It was at this bar. I think it was called Area 51's in Vegas, right? Like
Yeah, are we talking about the bar Area 51 or the actual Area 51 that is
the actual Area 51
where they keep the aliens?
Okay, so it was like
It's in Nevada.
it was like Area 52 or something was what the bar was called.
It was. Are you sure it wasn't like a government area where they were keeping aliens?
So let me just get to it real quick.
Oh,
and
okay,
then
okay. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to the aliens.
This is
Okay,
fucking weird.
my mistake.
So,
Okay, hit me with it.
keep
Hit
in
me with it.
mind, we're a Christian band.
He's a Christian boy. Come on.
Yeah, Christian boy from the
And-
South.
And we're on tour with another Christian hardcore band. And we pull up to, we're just going to call it Area 51.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. It might have been Area 52 or like Area 49 or something.
Let's call it Area 52. I like that better.
Well, okay. So we pull up to Area 52 and they're like, yeah, we got a couple bands opening for you guys. And we're like, okay, tight, sick. And they were just like local, like butt rock bands. But the thing that like, it was like a what the fuck moment or what the frick, because I was so fucking Christian back then.
Yeah, there was no saying fuck.
There was no saying fuck. The what the frick moment for me was we got to the venue. The dude came out, told us, oh, you know, we got a couple bands. You guys can load your shit in here. We start grabbing our shit. We go inside. It's a late show because the bar's like close to closing before they even do shows, like after hours. So it's late.
Okay.
It is a like they have like cages with like naked girls dancing in them.
How did that make your Christian heart feel?
That's not even the worst.
Oh, what do you mean?
So-
What else happened here? Was there a live sex show?
Huh?
Was there a live sex show as well? What?
Basically, okay, so you know those like old like big TVs, like they were just like really big. They had like 20 of them hanging up just around the ceiling, all of them playing like crazy hardcore vintage porn. Like you're just walking around.
This bar sounds kind of sick,
dude.
Yeah, can we actually like, find out where this
I
place
actually
is?
would be so fucking down to go now.
like as all
but,
adults and non-Christians, I feel like that
my little
sounds.
Christian heart was about to explode. I was like, I don't know if.
How was the show? Was it good?
No, God, no. Dude, none of the shows at that whole tour besides Warped Tour was good. You know, it's your first tour. You're playing at places that are like 100 cap with like 10 people there. So like that's
Is it brutal? Like, I mean, I guess as a musician, you're like, fuck it, I love the craft. But is it brutal playing for 10 people? This has been one thing that, like, you know, Corey was in a band and I have a lot of other friends that were in bands. And for me, it's like the one thing that I think about that makes me feel so anxious and so bummed out is like playing for 3 people or playing for like 10 people. And it's all 10 people, you know, and they're only there because they're like, yo, we can't let the homie play to no one. Like
Yeah.
that would fuck me up so emotionally.
I guess it would be, it depends on the situation because I've played shows where it's like 10 people and it's just like stone cold faces. And I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? I'm quitting this now. I'm never playing drums again. Fuck this. But then again, I've played shows in front of like 3,000 people.
And it's like the best feeling in the world, huh?
No, it's sick. I've played shows in front of like 3,000 people where they're stone cold faces.
Whoa, that sounds way worse.
Yeah. So it's like, I would much rather play in front of 10 people that are like fucking into it, like they're with the shits,
Yeah.
than like 3,000 people that are just like,
Get me the fuck out of here. Okay, I'm producer Corey, I'm gonna ask you this question. Robbie,
Go.
I'm gonna ask you this question. Have you ever had anyone yell, "You suck"?
Yes.
no.
We got booed one time when we were opening for Dying Fetus, and I literally leaned into the microphone. I said, "Yeah, Dying Fetus plays in like 15 minutes, so you can go hang out in the fucking back, loser." And they didn't love that, but yeah.
So I never got booed or like said like, or like someone said you suck based on like the band I was with or the talent. But that Florida show, we're like,
They were not vibing with it.
well, dude, it's a titty bar. There's porn playing everywhere, and we're on stage like, God loves you, like, you know.
That's kind of sick though.
And people
like-
in the crowd going like this. So it's like essentially a boo, but to the content we were
yes.
like,
not
we
the
were
music, but the
not the
content.
music, yeah.
So let's talk about. Do you think that like so at the time you're touring, you're 17, and we were just talking about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
You see other drummers, other musicians that are like heavily tattooed. Do you think that someone like yourself now, where you're heavily tattooed, do you think that like younger people see you and they're like, "Yo, I want to get tattooed"? Like, did you have the same experience where you would see drummers or you would see other musicians that are really heavily tattooed, and you're like, "I want to look just like that"?
I didn't necessarily see like, or it wasn't necessarily like other musicians per se, because another thing about that very same Florida show was that promoter that came out. It was the first time I'd ever seen American traditional. He had a few pieces on his arm, just really bold and just like bright. And I was like, that is so sick. And he's like, oh yeah, I get it done at such and such shop down there. And I'm like, what style is that? Like, what do you call that? You know? Because at that time I only had script on my body. I never had like designs or pieces, you know? And he was like, it's American traditional. I was like, I fucking love it.
You
I
loved it
wanna
ever
do
since.
that. Yeah. Because musicians I saw growing up that were heavily tattooed was, like I said, Avenged Sevenfold was my favorite band at that time. I had 100 posters of them on my wall. They were all heavily tattooed, but there wasn't any one tattoo in particular that I was like, that's really cool.
Do they
until I
all
met
have like
that-
black and gray stuff? Like, why in my mind, like I know what they look like, but I can't imagine their tattoos. Who knows? Corey, do you know? What kind of tattoos does the members of Avenged Sevenfold have?
Yeah, they're like yeah, I guess like the way that I think about it is like biker tattoos.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
all
Like
black and gray shit.
random like demon shit, but like shitty. I want to say.
Yeah.
I'm really confident they're shitty tattoos. I met them one time, like when I was really young. I was just like you. I was like mad Avenged Sevenfold fan.
Yeah.
And we went to the Tower Records on Sunset the day City of Evil came out, and like that was the sickest day, dude. It was so fun. And I remember meeting them and being like, yo, like these guys are so cool. And once again, like we talked about, like I think it was like episode 1. Like it was like years later looking at their tattoos and be like, this looks like shit, dude. This is terrible.
It'd be happening.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about Avenged Sevenfold, their tattoos. Let's flash forward a little bit because we've been getting a lot of off track tonight. We're gonna
so
try and move.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I fuck with it. So when did you ultimately decide you want to leave the South? You want to come to LA, and you really, 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 truly want to pursue your career as a drummer, as a musician? Like you're gonna do it, and this is the place to make it happen. What was the catalyst for change with that?
You know, to be honest, when I first moved to LA, it wasn't to like, I'm going to go to LA and further my career.
Oh, it was just strictly to move here?
It was, I had lived in the South my whole life. I had been, like, I moved around a lot though. Like, even though I was in the South, I moved around a lot. Never stayed in one place for more than a couple years. And then my older brother was engaged to someone that was in California. And he's like, when I graduate college, I'm moving to California. And he was in the band with us at the time. And both my brothers were in the band. And he was like, I'm moving to California because I want to be with her. And I graduated high school the same time he graduated college. So when he brought up that idea of like, I'm moving there, I want to be with her. I really don't want this band to break up. We just started doing some really crazy shit. Like, we can keep this going in LA and it's going to be better because there's an actual music industry and scene
For sure.
out there. And I didn't even think of it like that. I looked at it as, I'm not going to college. I'm not joining the military. I want to do music. So if this is the only way I'm going to do music, like I'm going to go, and I want to fucking leave the shit out of the South.
Yeah.
Like I was just in a bad relationship and it was just going nowhere. I was working a factory job. And I was just like, man, there is seriously nothing fucking for me here. So like I'll move to LA just to see if there's something different for me. You know, it was never the intention of like, I'm moving there to pursue my career and get better at my craft. That happened when I moved back to LA in 2016. But when I moved here in 2011, it was literally just to escape and just like get my own sense of freedom and like just like continue taking over the world with my brothers and my best friends. You
That's
know?
sick. So
Yeah.
ultimately, so you said like you left, you came here, you left, you came back. At the end of the day, are you glad you did it? Like, do you love LA?
I do. Yeah.
Me too.
I'm not like a native here, but
Yeah.
Los Angeles is the longest I've lived anywhere else in my life. So it feels like home.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you.
Yeah.
You're a good part of LA.
Thank you.
Do you think that, okay, so we're going to flash forward even more.
Okay.
You've played in other bands, you've toured a bunch, you've
Uh-huh.
done a bunch of other things. But at the end of the day, like, you are a musician. There are only a couple people in my life where I can like really look at them and be like, yo, you're a musician, especially you because you tour and you play drums for a bunch of different bands. You've done like drum tutorials on YouTube, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, good tours, bad tours, like you've told me bad experiences playing with bands. Is it worth it? Like, do you love it? In your heart, you're like, yo, I am a drummer. I'm a musician.
I really do because, you know, as we said at the beginning of the podcast, I am a barber as well. But like, I've lived and done so many, like I've lived so many different lives and done so many different things. Like in my 30 years of living, like not only am I a licensed barber, I have a college degree. I've worked for huge celebrities. Like I've done so many things, and 95% of the time in between those things, I worked retail, just soul sucking retail,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. And so the only thing in my entire life that has been a constant has been drums.
So you love it. Like, it's like you're, like you
Yeah.
said, you're constant. You love it.
Like when I moved away from LA in 2013, I lived in Washington State for a few years, and I never toured while I was up there. I was going to college, but I was still like constantly pursuing who needs a drummer. I need to play drums. Like I still need to do it. Like I still had a drum set. I never sold my shit. And the person I was with at the time did not want me to tour. Like they just were like, no,
Not fucking with it.
not fucking with it. It was a whole kind of trust thing, but
It's neither here nor there.
yeah. So it was just like, you know, I never sold any of my shit, even though I was not allowed to tour.
Yeah. Because it'd be like giving a piece of you away.
Yeah. And, I just was always trying to, like I was going to college as, like I got a degree in audio engineering. So which is still like music related, you know, like I'm recording, mixing, mastering shit. And so I would just escape to the studio at school sometimes and just go play drums in the drum room, even though I wasn't allowed to. What
Yeah.
are they going to do about it? You
Yeah,
know?
fuck them.
Yeah.
And you were probably playing the drums so good, they were like, let him play. Let him hit the skins.
I was pretty rusty in Washington. I wasn't playing.
I'm sure it was good. I am curious,
Uh-huh.
for anyone that's out there, maybe a young person who maybe has parents or a person in their life that is discouraging of them being a musician. For you, as someone that's on the other side of it, you've been doing it for a long time. Can you honestly say, like, stick with it? Or is it like, yo, if you don't love it, just get out? Or like, is it something that you've grown to love? Like, do you feel like that relationship with being a musician has grown and grown and grown?
Well, if you're someone whose parents are very discouraging of you playing music or like just being a musician, it sucks. And you just have to get it through your head that they're never going to see eye to eye
Yeah.
until they start to see you doing shit. You know, it's like the classic case of like no one fucks with the local band until they're signed and touring. And then they're like, that's my favorite fucking band. I used to see them at blah, blah, blah all the time. And it's like, yeah, you were at the bar in the back completely ignoring this band when you used to see them. You just want to say that you did, you know?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like my parents didn't see what I was doing as a job or rather than like a life other than a hobby until I was like doing big shit.
Yeah. Which
They're
makes
like-
sense. I get
yeah,
it.
they're like, oh, this is for real? Because like when we brought up like, hey, we're moving to California to keep this band together, they're like, what? Like, it was just mind blown, you know?
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. They're like, why? You know? But basically you just if you love it, you like keep doing it because you love it. Because even when you get to the point of you're touring and you're making videos for the internet, like I can't even begin to tell you like how many videos, like I do everything myself, like filming, editing, mixing, mastering, the whole shebang. Every video that you see on my Instagram page is 100% done by me.
And they're really good videos.
It's a lot of work just to get a 30-second fucking clip.
But you do it because you love it?
You do it because you love it, because even when you put so much work into that, you have to expect nothing from it.
That's
You
really,
could
you know
be
what? Hey, everybody, that's really good advice.
You could be so proud of it, like,
And no one gives a shit.
and there's so many times that I would put up a video that I'm like, this video, I am so fucking proud of this video. I did it all myself and it looks phenomenal. It's got 40 views on YouTube and 100 views on Instagram. You know,
Yeah.
It's not going viral. It's not showing up on anyone's For You page, but I'm proud of that. And I'm so fucking lucky that those 100 people saw that because I'm proud of that. You
Dude,
know?
that's real love. Honestly, I really respect that a lot.
If you go into this shit, thank you. If you go into it, it's like if I had the mindset of, I'm so proud of this video, it looks so fucking sick. This video is what's gonna skyrocket me. I'm gonna go viral from this video. You are just gonna do nothing but let yourself down.
And I think that's good advice, and that's something that I try to tell like tattooers as well.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever go into it creating something or putting a tattoo out there or putting flash out there with the intent of like, it's gonna go viral. I'm gonna get famous. I'm gonna make a bunch of money. Like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna make art, put it out there for you. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
You just gotta let go of it. you know?
Because I had that expectation when I started doing YouTube videos, because basically I started doing YouTube videos when the band that I was in at the time in like 2019, it was a band that I was touring with, and it was a band that like I was in. Like I just do session shit now, but it was a band that like I was in. This is my band, and we're fucking touring and we're doing the damn thing. It just broke up out of nowhere because the vocalist didn't want to tour anymore, and it's like, well, that's all I want to do. So I'll catch you guys later. I started doing YouTube for the sole intention of, it's way different walking up to you and saying, hey, I'm a drummer. And you're like, tight.
Yeah.
But if I could show you that I can play the shit and I can do the shit and I'm good at the shit, then you're going to believe me a lot more than if I were to just tell you or even just give you a card.
Yeah.
You know?
Again, that's a really good piece of logic to use.
Yeah,
You know, and I
so-
think that's what makes social media. People talk shit on it. People say that it's a negative thing. It's this, it's that. But that alone is what makes it great. That right there is like one of the things specifically that is great about social media.
Yeah.
Because you can show someone like, see that I'm good, see that I'm skilled, see that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you this. And on the topic of love. So you're a barber now. You decided to split it up. You wanted to do the thing where you're like, I'm going to also tour, but I'm also going to barber. I'm going to split them in half.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because at the end of the day, you needed to see the light at the end of the tunnel? Do you feel like you love being a musician and playing drums less or more because you barber now?
Literally, barbering was just something that I've always wanted to do, just because like I was very like, my mom used to shave my head when I was a kid.
Okay.
I didn't get to grow my hair out and get my first haircut at a barbershop till I was like 14 years old. So when I started being able to be in control of the way that I looked in terms of my hair, I was very picky. So I like love a good haircut. And it's just, a haircut is also just like, there's been times in my life where I'm just like, my life fucking sucks. You know?
Some honesty. Okay.
I'm so depressed. Nothing is going right. My life fucking sucks. I walk into the barbershop. I get a good haircut. I walk out feeling like I could take on the fucking world. No one can touch me.
That's facts. I
You know?
completely
Get
agree
a clean
with that.
cut. You good.
Yeah, you feel so good and you got a clean cut.
I love giving that experience to people. But like barbering was literally something I got into just because I was so fucking tired of working retail in between tours.
Yeah.
There's a lot more freedom with barbering too, in terms of like a schedule and like controlling your off time. Cause I'm essentially just like like here, they're
If you're not working, you're not making
contractors,
money. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but as well, I like to cut hair when I'm on the road because when you're touring, it's really hard to take time away from the tour to do something as simple as go get a haircut.
Yeah.
You're working 16 hours a day sometimes when you're on tour, and there's just not enough time in the day to like take an hour and go to a bar, find a barbershop.
You can hook everybody up that's on tour.
So I'm like, yo, I can give you that.
Do you think that
here,
like at 30 years old, you went on your first tour when you were 17, 30 years old now, you still go on tours. You just got back from one? Or are you about to go on one?
Like 2.5 weeks ago.
Does it feel very different? Or do you you look in the mirror and you're like, it's exactly the same from when I was 17? Like, does it feel different or does it feel the same?
It feels so different.
Like massively different?
Massively, because
Does it feel like more of an achievement?
Like yes and no, because it's like at 17, if I would have seen the tours that I was doing from ages like 27 to 30, I would be like, you're a god. You made it. You can die happy now. But me looking back at the tours that I did when I was 17, never again. You could not pay me enough to sleep in a sweaty van with 6 other dudes.
Smelling like farts and God knows what else.
Waking up in pools of sweat in 103-degree heat and 98% humidity in South Florida is never happening again, Yeah,
especially
but
at 30.
At that time, I was so fucking happy to do it. I never once was like, fuck, we got to sleep in a van. It was just understood. Shit, dude, I get to sleep in a van. Like, I'm going on tour. This is great. Like, I'm like hanging with my fucking best friends and there's no adults here,
Yeah. And when you're young, and it's like when you're a young dude, you should do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what makes it fun and interesting and cool.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're going to get back on the tattoo thing a little bit?
Okay.
Now, I feel like one of the most hilarious and corniest groups of people to me that have a lot of tattoos can sometimes be barbers.
Oh my
and they
God.
like to do like the knuckles to the forearm and throat all around, nothing else. What is the deal with barbers wanting to be aggressively tattooed? Is it just a thing? Is it like, well, fuck it, I'm my own boss? Why do barbers love to have like an insane amount of visible tattoos and nothing anywhere else? Are you going to get a barber pole on your sideburns? When's that going to happen?
No, dude.
Producer Corey, what's up? Where's that face? What was that face?
I was a barber for like 6 months and saw several of those in school.
Oh, in school, dude. Bro,
I've
there
done
was this
several
dude
of them.
Yeah,
I went to
it's
school
fucked.
with, Lil Peep's Crybaby. Super fucking big barber.
Just in case
I'm
you
like,
forget what your occupation
Hell
is.
yeah.
Yo, I'm so fucking proud of you, dog.
See, this is what I mean. What's the
see,
deal with that?
I want to. So, Michael, let's put me on the books. Next week, I want to put podcaster on my face right above my
Producer.
fucking eyebrow. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it right now. I'll pay you to let me tattoo oh God, I can't even podcaster above your eyebrow in script.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. There's funny tattoos and like your Monster Energy drink tattoo, and then there's stupidity.
What's funny about that?
Nothing.
Okay,
Nothing at all. Dead serious.
Here's my
Let's hear your theory.
Here's my 2 cents on the fucking barbers and like ungodly amounts of irrational tattoos in dumb spots. It's like SoundCloud rappers.
Yes.
Every time I walk down Melrose, I'm just like, that dude loves SoundCloud rap. He was wearing like shorts, a t-shirt, had not even like tasteful tattoos on his face, just like
Face tats. Hella face tats.
no tattoos, and then he had a hand tattoo, but nothing else on his arm or legs, just face and hand. It's like, I have a feeling that was the chair. I have a feeling
It's okay. Even if you did fart, we would understand.
it's probably the same situation of like every SoundCloud rapper back in the day would talk about, I'm tattooing my face because I'm not giving myself an out. I have to make it or I'm gonna die.
That grind set.
That grind set. I have a feeling it's probably the same thing.
That makes sense. I think in the same way, like a lot of young tattooers do the Warped Tour bodysuit, where it's basically like fist, forearms, throat, and then I'm all set. That's it for me.
Yeah. I feel like you could find those types of people with those tattoos in like every
fringe,
kind of
like
group.
Yeah.
Musicians, tattoo artists themselves, barbers, just
it's a thing.
retail workers.
So currently, even retail workers. It's true.
Dude, it's
currently
cringy.
Zoomies assistant managers.
Do you know someone specifically?
I know several. There's
Several,
so many.
you're saying.
Yeah, go to any like work event. For
I was an
Zoomies.
assistant
There's
manager at
So
Zoomies.
many. Yeah, you and me
Shout out
both, dog.
Zoomies.
It's all good.
Zoomies sponsor this podcast. Give us money. I'll say Zoomies.
I'll take that.
Yeah, we'll take it.
But I have lots of tattoos everywhere, not just the ones you can see.
Robbie, what's inspiring you right
What
now?
else?
Musically, barbering. What is something that's inspiring you right now?
So in terms of barbering, I think anytime I see something on Instagram or TikTok or anything of barbering, it's the cringiest shit I've ever seen. Like celebrity barbers have got to be the corniest motherfuckers
I've been seeing
ever
it sometimes.
seen.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So, I mean, for me personally, barbering, I just want to get really good at it so I can give people that feeling that I was talking about earlier, just like taking over the world and feeling incredible when they get out of my chair.
Which is really dope.
And I would say that my inspirations and my influences on barbering have nothing to do with those celebrity barbers. It's literally like I feel like I work with the best barbers at the shop that I'm at, and I'm constantly just like looking at the work that they're doing, and I'm just like, man, they're fucking good. I want to get that good. So like for me, it's the other barbers, Jaime, Saul, Steve, Marquise, and Bopper over at New York
Marquise
Cuts.
and Bopper, those are names?
Yeah.
Damn, those are some serious
Marquise
names.
is
Marquise and
Marquise
Bopper.
is just the homie. He's Mark, but like we call him Marquise.
Is Bopper like
he
a
doesn't even
bopper?
call himself that. Bopper calls himself Bopper. He is Bopper. That is a man named Bopper.
Do you know? You know, it doesn't matter why Bopper's called Bopper. We're getting
Bopper's
off topic.
dope.
We're about to get into something that doesn't even is not relevant to this podcast.
Yeah.
What about as a drummer? What's inspiring you?
You know, I'm like a metal rock drummer that's heavily influenced by, and I know it sounds weird because it's just the genre, but it's not the, like I'm inspired by a lot of gospel drummers, but that's not talking about like church music. It's like,
But I think it makes
R&B.
sense. Like they're so good at playing drums, you can't not acknowledge how well done it is and how masterfully
like,
it's done.
Styx Taylor, he plays for Justin Bieber. Amazing drummer.
He's such a good drummer that his name is Styx, like drumsticks.
I don't know his actual name, but that's
But everyone's be like, "Yo, Styx Taylor."
Yeah, Styx Taylor, Eric Moore III. That dude's insane.
Who does he play with?
The first time he just does solo shit now. But the first time I saw him, he won the Guitar Center drum off in like 04 or something. That's how he got popular.
What a fucking
but the
legend.
first time I saw him, he was a gospel drummer playing with suicidal tendencies. And it worked. It was incredible. I was just blown away. And I was like, I need to know who this drummer is. And that's...
So anyone out there that's trying to get into drumming, listen to some gospel drums and you'll learn a thing or two. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I fuck with it. So
or just like, I hate jazz, but jazz drummers are fucking
how can
amazing.
you hate jazz? Jazz is so good.
Dude, jazz is so corny. Play the right notes. No, I'm kidding.
Oh
No,
my
it's
God.
just-
Listen, we're going to just gloss it. Can
Okay,
we mark that one, edit it out?
Okay. So, like, I'm talking about
What?
like
Yeah, let's hear it.
avant-garde, like
Let's-
free jazz, or just like but like there's like tons of like great music that has like jazz influence in it. That's like jazz, or like Tyler the Creator would be nothing without jazz.
Yes,
His
correct.
shit is heavily influenced by jazz. So good. And all of the artists like in that genre, you know, like Frank Ocean.
Yes.
You know, all of the artists in that realm, like you can definitely tell that they're heavily influenced by jazz.
Yes.
Like jazz in itself is so fucking hard to listen to.
Oh, what? Listen,
That's rich coming from you.
What?
I mean, I disagree with you, but we're not
No,
here to
that's
talk about
fine.
jazz.
That's fine.
We're not here to talk about jazz.
If you listen to free jazz, you probably have a lot wrong with you. So,
oh my god.
or you probably have.
I'm sorry. What
really
was that person with divorced parents? What was that?
Yeah,
What was that?
exactly. Maybe a parent that liked
Or
jazz
if you listen to
music.
free jazz, you probably have like trash music taste,
You don't know that though. That's such a generalization.
dude. If
This
you can
podcast
listen
does
to
not
that-
endorse Robbie's generalizations.
If you can listen to that like happily and just like always want to be on that, like I guess I envy you if you can find joy in.
I'm gonna start sending you free jazz playlist every day.
dude.
Every day. I'm gonna make a jazz playlist for you, and I'm gonna make you like on everything, make you listen to it.
Okay, so like the bassist in the band that I tour with, he is like he went to school. Chris. Yeah. He went to
Chris
school
Chris.
for
Chris.
like jazz, and he's like a teacher of like bass and jazz and stuff, and like he's shown me jazz that like is good.
What about
It's
jazz hands? Like
essentially-
DJ Michael McGill's doing
essentially
jazz
fucking
hands.
Animals as Leaders, but like on piano, and I'm like, that's kind of tight.
Yes, now you're getting it. Yes.
No, that's not free jazz though. That's not avant-garde jazz.
Well, listen,
That's 5 musicians on a stage playing nothing together.
but we're splitting hairs here. This is not. We're getting too off topic. We're getting too off topic. Okay, let's go back to the podcast. This does not need to be Robbie's anti-jazz corner. All right. I will tell you, and I'm not going to put them on blast, but someone that works here at 9 Lives also doesn't like jazz. And I heard her saying it the other day.
Oh, her. The one
4 fucking people that work here.
I'm not going to put this person on
Just cut
blast,
it on half.
but I heard her say it, and it went into my ear, and I thought of every time I've put on jazz in the shop, and she must have been fucking seething because I really like jazz.
I'll put it to you like this: how
Put
I
it to
feel
me
about
like this.
jazz. I hate Metallica, but I love everything that was influenced by that. I'll just say that I hate jazz, but I love everything that's influenced by it. Does that
Okay,
make
that's
sense?
a better way of, because you were going to be getting some hate mail had we not done this thing.
I was explaining it, and you guys were just so hot.
Because jazz is good, bro. Corey?
That's fine.
Producer Corey? No, he's putting the microphone.
I got nothing for you.
You got nothing for us.
I mean, I get where he's coming from because it makes a lot of sense. I'm not a fan of the Beatles. I think the Beatles actually kind of suck and they're mad overrated.
But you
like,
love everything that's
but
influenced
there's a
by
ton
it.
of shit that's influenced by it
Totally.
that's really good. I think it's super funny that somebody that works here doesn't like jazz because I know for a fucking fact you love that shit. So all I can think of now is coming in here and her just being livid as fuck, having to listen to jazz.
Oh, dude,
for
I
8
can't,
hours.
I'll never put it on again. And it's like one of my and like I remember one day, this specific day, I was having a really bad day, and I was like having such a bad like bratty Michael day that I pushed one of the tables up against the window, and I was like, I had the windows open and was drawing and like watching the rain and just being like such a bratty fuck, and I had on jazz really fucking loud, and person X comes in and she was like, "You all right?" And I was like, I'm just having a bad day. Like, I'm like not doing well. And like, she was just like, oh, okay. Like, so we're going to listen to this. Like, this is what we're going to listen to. Like, this makes me feel like I'm in like a shitty romantic comedy. Ha 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 ha. And I was just like, yeah, we're going to keep listening to this. And all day, that poor girl.
It was Emily.
No, it. You know,
You know what? When you said this story, I knew exactly who it was.
it's not Emily. We'll just say that. All right, Robbie, we're burning up time. It's
Okay.
hot as fuck in here. Let's get through the rest of this.
Let's get it.
2 things before we get to the magical question.
Oh, God.
Number 1, and I love you, but let's keep it concise. Religion. Is it bullshit or not?
Here's what I'll say about religion, okay? If you're force-fed shit, you're going to be blinded by it.
Yes.
Like, you're going to be blinded by it unintentionally, you know? Because I was just super sheltered growing up. Here's what I'll say about religion is never fully commit to any type of religion, mythology, sort of any type of spiritual anything until you've sought your own truth. And you like, even though it might not be real, like astrology, you know, no one knows for sure, but there's people that are just like, it is fact.
Yeah, or like the angel number thing. People
They
really, really invest
will
in angel numbers.
die for astrology,
Yeah.
but other people around don't get it, but they're super into it. You know, it's just like seek your own truth, find out what works for you. I'm not going to sit here and say like, yeah, I made a joke earlier, you know, oh, if you're religious, this might not be, you know, a podcast for you. And I said, think again, jokingly, but it's like, I respect all religions. I don't adhere to any of them. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'd be lying if I didn't think that there was some type of greater power controlling all of this, because, you know, where did we come from?
Yeah.
No one's got the magical answer, you know? So it's
Maybe
just like,
maybe Jesus Christ does.
oh my God. Be respectful of all religions and practice what you preach. I've never met a more hateful person in my life than a Christian. And what do they preach? Love. And what do they act? Hate.
Facts.
Yeah, as much as it like those are inflammatory words, but in my experience, the most intolerant people, in my experience, just for me personally, in my own life, going to Catholic high school and being out in the world and being a tattooer and looking the way that I look and all these things, sadly, I've had the most negative. I mean, you know, you can turn on the news and see bullshit like the Westboro Baptist Church or Christian fundamentalists or whatever, and it's like it's honestly shameful. The way that they act is shameful. Well,
I mean, the Ku Klux Klan is like a religious organization.
Yeah, which is
that makes no fucking sense. Like,
bunch of fucking haters. Hey, I'm gonna say on record, fuck the Klan.
Fuck the Klan.
Fuck y'all for real. Y'all can kiss both of my ass cheeks. Fuck them. Okay. Last question.
Is this the mystery question?
No. We got this question and then the mystery question. Mystery question's a really good one.
Okay.
Any bands you want to give a shout out? Any bands you're really fucking with? Any bands you think are like exceptionally good? Give us like a quick top 5 or just bands that you're really loving right now.
Bands that I'm really loving right now, because you played music as well. If you ask anyone who does music or is in music what your favorite band is, they will never be able to give you a straight answer, because it's just like what we're listening to right now. But like top 5 bands right now, I'd probably say is like Harriet. They're like a sick ass like new like death metal band from the UK.
Oh, sick.
They just went on tour with Lamb of God, and their sound is fucking sick as hell.
Harriet, shout out Harriet. Corey's picking up his phone right now.
It's spelled
I be saving shit.
Heriot.
Harriot, like chariot, but hairy.
Yeah. They're super sick. Been really fucking with Bad Nerves lately. Which is like,
was that the Darkwave band you put me onto?
No. Their Bad Nerves is like, they're from the UK. They're like a punk band, but like on the radio. And they sound like if Sex Pistols came out now instead of in the 70s.
I like that. I'm gonna check that out too.
Pistols, so
yeah,
like,
me too.
That's hard. So Bad Nerves is tight as fuck. I'd say I'm always listening to Denzel Curry. Love that dude.
Whoop. Yeah, shout out Denzel Curry. That new album is tight as fuck.
Yeah.
Do you like the? I think it's the second time shouting out this album on this podcast. Do you like the JPEG Mafia Danny Brown collab? Stop scaring the hoes.
To be honest, I don't think I've heard it yet.
It's extremely chaotic.
Okay.
But it's like that's another one that is not a liked album in this shop.
Okay.
It's like we would like for this to end immediately.
I wonder who.
I mean, the album's called Stop Scaring the Hoes, so.
All right, let's see what other bands I wrote down. Ooh, Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes.
Oh yeah, I like Frank Carter and the
Those
Rattlesnakes.
guys are sick.
Do you want to, while we're here, I do want to give this person a shout out because they are a really dope person. Do you want to give Brady a shout out? I was going to talk a little bit about Brady, but I was like, you know what? It's not really relevant. We're going to get off topic. But shout out Brady, your girl.
My wonderful, beautiful, lovable, most caring and amazing person I've ever met in my entire life.
Let's hear it for Brady.
The biggest fucking shout out. Shout out Brady.
And she supports you touring. She supports you having multiple careers. That's
She
a
is
big lesson for everybody.
fucking Trooper.
If you're going to be with someone, you're going to be a touring musician, you're going to be a tattooer, you're going to do something that is an extreme lifestyle. If you don't have a supportive partner, we said this last week, fuck them, break up with them, find someone better, live a better life. Don't be in toxic relationships. Bad people are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, barking.
Yeah.
Let's get to the mystery question.
Oh.
Are you ready?
I'm scared,
Wait, did
honestly.
you name 5?
Huh?
Did you name 5?
Oh, I think we're one more. You
Yeah.
said Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. We have one more.
Power Trip.
Power Trip. I looked at your hat and I was like, Power Trip.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to Power Trip, listen to Power Trip. I don't give a fuck what kind of music you like. Power Trip is tight.
R.I.P. Riley.
Yeah, R.I.P. It's a shame. Before we do the mystery question, shout out your barbershop, shout out your bands, tell everyone where they can find you, how they can hire you as a drummer, a drum teacher, a barber, a masseuse, a spiritual guider.
Okay, so
A spiritual guidance counselor. I said spiritual guider, and then I was like, that's not grammatically correct.
Okay, so shout out to my barbers.
What is the name of the barbershop?
New York Cuts in Highland Park.
Okay, New York Cuts in Highland Park. Get cut up there.
The homies Saul, Jaime, Steve,
What was his name? Bimbo? No.
Marquise, and Bopper.
Bopper.
You remember that old folk singer, Oh Big Bopper?
The Big Bopper. Hello,
Yeah.
baby.
He
Yeah, that
looked
guy.
like that kid in high school. So since high school, people like called him Bopper because he looked like.
Have you
that.
ever heard the crazy conspiracy theory that Richie Valens and Big Bopper were not? There's like a weird conspiracy theory about them that they
Yes.
actually didn't die.
I actually found out from
My grandma went to high school. Richie Valens. He's definitely dead.
Your grandma went to high school, Richie Valens?
Yeah.
You think she got after it?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's tight as fuck.
The rumor has it my grandma was low key a hoe. So
And I mean, that's some pretty famous dick.
yeah, go
You
crazy.
know. And I'm sure Richie, but he had the air about him that he knew how to like lay pipe. Respect.
Okay, so-
Lay the pipe.
Yeah, exactly. Corey, producer Corey, I couldn't put it better myself. Robbie, I'm sorry. We interrupted your shout out session.
Okay, so
shout out Big
my
Bopper.
barbershop. Shout out Bopper, Steve, Mark, Jaime, Saul.
You already named all their names.
God, I love you all.
What about bands? What about people who want to take drum lessons? They want to watch you on YouTube.
Okay, so yeah, any type of
Fuck. That shit really got producer Corey.
It's just the way he goes. Okay.
God damn it.
Okay, bands. How
you
can people listen to
find
your music?
All of the bands. Currently not really in any bands, but I do session work. I've worked with some pretty sick artists. But you can find all of that information on my Instagram. It's at Rob_Snow with 2 W's.
Tight.
And you can, all of my information on how to contact me and hire me is all in that link in the bio.
Do you have any
situation.
drum sponsorships you want to shout out? And do people
Los
give you free
Cabos
drums?
drumsticks? And that's it.
All right, cool. Zildjian, give my boy some cymbals.
Zildjian, I'll suck. No.
To be honest, I just wanted to say the word Zildjian out loud. Like that was really what I wanted to do. Whoa!
I wish they could've
Producer
caught
Corey, what's up
that.
with that? You're really working over that Monster Energy drink can.
It's delicious.
You're welcome, my boy.
I could not be more grateful.
You're the best, buddy. All right, Robbie. Oh, please continue.
Yeah.
Shout out Brady.
Shout out Brady. Good God. She's great.
Do you shout out your family, your brothers?
Shout out my brothers, Marshall, Dean, Elias, and my little big sister, Holly Ann.
Hell yeah. Shout out Holly Ann.
Yeah.
You're a real one.
Yeah.
All right, Robbie. Let's get to it. Oh, fuck. Now, in the tradition of By Appointment Only podcast, we're going to paint a picture. And you had mentioned something about 5 minutes ago that it fits perfectly into this.
Oh, God. I don't
Now
know
you-
what I said 5 minutes ago.
You said, I'm not currently playing with a band.
Okay.
Now imagine, if you will, and this is something where I'm going to need you to again, like everyone I ask, suspend a little bit of like reality. Okay? Imagine, if you will, in the next 6 months to a year, a band hits the scene.
Okay.
We currently live in a world where pop music is fucking huge. And like Blackpink and New Jeans and like obviously Taylor Swift. And then you've got like your hyper pop thing with Charlie XCX. All that shit is fucking huge right now.
Yeah.
And in the market, there's a little missing piece for something called rock and roll.
Okay.
A band hits the scene and it is like the second fucking coming of Led Zeppelin. Like everyone, and I mean everyone, even if you don't like Led Zeppelin,
Greta
everyone
Van
is
Fleet.
going, I know you're going to say
Okay.
Greta Van Fleet. I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
This band is the biggest band ever.
Okay.
Like everyone, and I mean everyone loves them.
Uh-huh.
Even if it's not your fit, even if you're like a hip hop person or even if you're a metal person, you're like, yo, this band is really fucking good. And like right out of the gate, it's like single after single after single. They're doing the top of the charts, diamond records. Like, it's just a fucking phenomenon. Like the Beatles were in the 60s. It's like this in 2023, 24. The biggest band ever. Okay. Now let's say, like it does happen, their drummer succumbs to drug addiction and death.
Sucks.
Okay. Did you say lucky? Producer Corey, you say lucky? Damn, that's hectic. A la Little Peep. Gone too soon.
Yeah, totally.
And they do a thing where they're like looking for a drummer, and then all of a sudden one day you're like checking your emails, bloop, get a little email. It's from this band, and they're like, yo, we saw your videos. We talked to some of the people you've worked with. We've done some thinking, and we really, really, really want you to be in the band. And we talked to some other people, and they just weren't a good fit for us. But given your background, we know that you're the right fit. Now, here's the thing, Robbie.
What's the twist? I'm waiting for that twist.
This band is deeply, deeply, deeply Christian. And I'm talking like opening set, prayer. 3 songs, prayer. Another song, prayer. They are constantly, the name of the band is Christ Almighty. And people are just like letting go of it. And they're like, you know what? I wasn't really fucking with religion. But maybe, just maybe I'm religious. I will tell you, Robbie, I listened to a whole thing about Kendrick Lamar's relationship with God. And I even was like, maybe I should be religious. Like if Kendrick knows, then maybe I should do it too. So this band is doing this for people.
Was that the Rick Rubin one?
It was that album or that podcast Dissect.
Oh.
And dude was basically like breaking down like the fact that like Kendrick is like deeply religious and like believes that he is like a soldier for Christ. And I was like, I mean, he makes really fucking good music, and he's a really smart man, and he's like really a beautiful artist. And special guest Ant.
He couldn't agree more.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
He's giving me the eye down, head up. Like,
So all that being said,
Gabe came over.
You're going to have to be the newest member of this extremely popular but extremely Christian band.
Okay.
And they want you to play the part. And like you're sitting there like at a press conference as their new drummer with like sunglasses that say like Jesus saves.
Hell yeah.
And you're just there like, you know, how do you feel about the other drummer dying, blah, blah. And you're just like, you know what? Like we're all forgiven by Christ. You know, he saves us. He is reborn. Thank you.
Dude, I could act that so fucking good.
So you're saying you could do it?
Oh, dude, without a doubt.
Like, could you get like you're at Crypto Arena, like
yeah, dude,
praying hands with drumsticks in between them. Like, I just want to take a minute to praise him. Jesus, I love you. Thank you for giving us another day.
It's like 2 hours out of a day that I just act that way.
But dog, you don't get to switch it off. You can't be like, yo, Satan is the coolest once you're out of the show.
Watch me.
You're gonna get kicked right the fuck out of the band. That's a caveat to it. Like, like you got to be in church. You and Brady are going to be in church. No more fucking. You guys can't do that stuff out of wedlock unless you get married. Like you got to live those Christian ass values, my boy.
Dude, I was already fucking out of wedlock when no one knew. Like,
well, you can, but like you have to be preaching it, or like you got to be driving past Planned Parenthood, and being like, "Fuck you guys!"
So
like things that suck.
Here's my question.
Question.
Do they know that I'm not Christian? Do they know that I'm putting on an act, or am I forced to put on an act? Because me being in the Christian music industry previously, like they're going to hire someone. They would rather hire someone that's a Christian, but if they can't, they tell them to put on an act. So am I hired to put on an act, or do they expect me to just like, dude, you know what? If if you want this position, you have to convert your life back to Christ. Because if that's the case, I'll tell them to lick me where I shit. So
let's just say that they keep it extreme. God damn, that's so hectic. I believe what you're trying to say is you tell them to lick your ass.
No. He said lick me where I shit. Don't fuck this up.
Is that a new one for you, Corey? Is that a new deep insult? I like that.
He's dying back there.
The last 20 minutes of this podcast have been really good for Corey. There's been a lot of like hard, I have to turn away laughter, which I really, really fucked with. Truly unhinged. Dude, I haven't seen you laugh like this in a long time. Good shit.
Oh,
really
God.
good shit. Okay, let's say Robbie, they're just like mad ambiguous with it. If you're like, yo, do I have to like full time, fully like Christian values? And they're just like, hey man, like you got to do what you got to do. Could you do it? But wouldn't you feel fucked up like looking in like a little kid's face in the front row of the show
No.
and being like, Christ believes in you. Take these drumsticks. You're one of Christ's soldiers.
I would
Like your whole life would be a lie.
I would give that kid the biggest reality check of his entire life.
That Jesus saves as you're handing him a drumstick?
Because it's going to come out way down the line. You can't hide that forever that I was not a Christian being in a Christian band. That kid that I gave that drumstick to is going to be like, that dude was the coolest dude I ever met. I don't care if he wasn't Christian. He gave me his drumsticks. That was cool as shit.
Okay. All right. So you're saying you could do it?
I'm going to start I wonder why he's not Christian, because it's not like he's doing bad things, but he's just not Christian.
He's just not Christian.
That gets the thinking wheels a going. That goes back to find your own truth and don't let it be shoved down your throat.
Okay. But if the band is shoving it down people's throats, you're cool with it?
Oh, hell no.
But you're getting paid.
I mean, I'm getting paid.
And that's what matters?
Like, to be honest, in terms of that band, it would really come down to the stipulations of like, what am I hired to do, basically? Am I hired to just play drums, or am I hired to like preach as well?
That part. That one. That's
then
the one.
It's like, I can put on a good show in front of the crowd, but behind closed doors, I'm myself.
So it would be like in the same way that like Kerry King is not actually a Satanist. He's just doing performance as the guitar player for Slayer who loves the devil. Like it to you, it'd be performance art.
Yeah. Or it's just like, any huge musician like Iggy Pop, that dude goes crazy on stage and he's super chill outside the stage. It's like you put on the show for the time that you're hired to put on the show. You know what I mean?
Honestly spoken, like a true professional, like a true someone who's been on stage and knows what to do.
Yeah.
I think what I've really learned from this entire episode that is if you're a Christian band and you're looking for a drummer, please hit up Robbie. To anyone.
We will not be removing this episode from the internet.
Yeah, 100% no. If you are a Christian band, for sure hit up Robbie. He will play drums at a discounted rate for you.
A discounted rate? You're wheeling and dealing it for me?
100% yes.
The worst manager ever.
Yeah, no, you mean the best manager ever. This motherfucker could have a bunch of gigs now.
You want 10%? You got to get me not discounted rates.
No, I want 0%. Oh. But every band that comes your way, you have to play at least one show with them.
Every band?
Every band. Oh. Every band. Okay, but we'll say this. If it's like a bunch of 16-year-olds, pass.
Oh,
but
my God, dude.
If they have one album on Spotify and they reach out to you to play one show with them, you have to play the show.
Dude, honestly, if shit comes my way from this episode, I'll try.
Listen, I'll go to the motherfucking show. I'll be there.
Okay.
Especially if you're going to be putting drumsticks between your hands with praying hands.
We're all pulling up.
Yeah, we're all pulling up.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Robbie, you're the best. Thank you for being here.
Dude, this
has been
fun.
such a unhinged, I guess, episode of this.
Unhinged.
We talked about religion. We talked about the dirty South. The South, you fucking with it? You're not fucking with it.
Okay, so I did go back to the South on this last tour, and I was very surprised at how... I mean, I was in like kind of the bigger cities, but like I saw a lot more progressive stuff than I did last time I was there.
Good.
So
I love to hear
really
that.
Cool.
I love
was
Atlanta.
Really cool.
Atlanta's the shit.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about Atlanta. Like, Atlanta's tight. I'm talking about like I was
in in the deep South.
I was in Alabama.
You were in Bama. Can we call it Bama?
I was in Bama on this last...
Yo!
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. The second we opened the windows because it's hot as hell in here, a fucking firework went off for some reason, or someone is popping off shells. Could be in this neighborhood. Could be any of them.
I'm fucking with a few things from the South, but for the majority, I don't fuck with the politics.
Yeah.
But I do miss like the how like
the chicken for sure.
I miss that good Southern comfort for food, dude. But like,
so in short, yes, you fuck with.
In short, yes, but no. I would never live down there again. But like, it's a cool place to visit if you have family there.
Yeah.
If you're going to the South just to visit, like you're gonna have a terrible fucking time.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to like Atlanta or like Nashville. But like if you're going to Birmingham, Alabama, just to go, like fucking I wish you have fun. I hope you have fun. But like
But you're probably not going to.
no. I'd go down there and visit. I like going down and visit, but I would never live there again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Before we wrap it up, I have to make a formal apology. Tonight's our first formal apology. I want to just get this out of the way. I actually have to make 2.
What did I?
Not to you. No, it has nothing to do with you, Robbie.
Okay, I was like, I just said I hate jazz, man. I didn't say anything
Years
too
and
crazy.
years ago, I said the following words on camera and meant it deeply. Fuck James Cameron. I was immature. I was wrong. I have gone back and watched Titanic, Avatar, Aliens, all of the hits, and I feel really bad for saying it. I didn't mean it. I was just trying to look cool in front of a group of tattooers, and that's why I said it. So James Cameron, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Also, on a more interesting note, Jamil, who I tattooed today, who let us know that he didn't like that we posted on Juneteenth. He said that it was disrespectful to Juneteenth. So we apologize about that.
We got a black producer though. Come on.
I expressed this to Jamil, and he said that he understands and he knows, but he said that it was in poor taste for us to post on Juneteenth. So we apologize. If it's ever a holiday, especially a very important holiday like Juneteenth, that everyone needs to understand and respect, we didn't mean it. Just got a little too excited podcasting. So Jamil, I love you, buddy. Thanks for getting tattooed. Yeah, dude, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. What a fucking banger of a movie. James Cameron, I'm sorry. Also, really quickly, I'm just going to say this because I think you guys will think this is funny. If you've ever been to 9 Lives, there is a scrapyard across the street. And we mentioned earlier that they've been fucking scrapping all night. It is literally almost 10:30 at night, and they're still in there scrapping. While we were podcasting, I thought that I was seeing shooting stars and was really, really excited. I was going to tell you guys off camera, like, yo, I saw 2 shooting stars while we were podcasting. Like, dreams really do come true. It was the light from the building reflecting on the metal arm of the backhoe. And so it was going in an upward shape because the arm was moving upward, and those are the shooting stars that I saw. So dreams don't come true. Shooting stars don't exist
Dreams
in the
don't
arts
come true.
district. I guess that's that.
Well, I guess we'll see ya. Like, no.
Robbie, thank you again. I love you,
Dude,
buddy. Thank
love
you for
you,
always
man.
trusting me. You have such cool tattoos. It's crazy, like sitting here talking to you. I've been looking at all these and thinking about all the laughs we've shared together.
Dude,
And obviously,
yes.
like you and I met at Corey's wedding. Again, Corey's wedding is like the biggest topic on this podcast.
Yes.
I know Pedram because of you. You're a real one. I'm so glad we're friends. I'm so glad I get to tattoo you. Same to Brady. She's a wonderful girl. I'm glad you guys are together. Life is good.
Yeah,
God is great.
all the time.
Thank you
Will
again.
he do it?
Huh?
Will he do it? Yes, he will. Thank you. Come on. I thought you
Yeah,
were
come on,
supposed
dude.
to
You don't
do
know
it
that
like
one? Will he do it? Yes, he will.
I thought you said like some type of, can he fix it? Yes, he can.
this.
That was
Same concept.
They would do that at my high school.
Okay.
That was a big
Just
big
like,
sports chant.
Will he
Is
do
Corey
it?
dying
Yes,
again?
he can. Shout out JC.
It's so fucking hectic.
This may be our most hectic episode yet.
No, not a chance.
But it's interesting that Robbie's bring that hectic energy. Back to back. Maybe it's season 3. No Robbies. I'm
Punishing Robbie's from
No,
the
I'm fucking kidding. I love this kid. He's the best. Everyone out there, I love you. Thank you for listening to another exciting, inventive, I guess religious, drumming, rhythmical, sensual, cool, fun, tatted, shooting star loving episode of By Appointment Only. Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you for everyone that keeps giving me rad feedback lately. So many people have been coming up to me, tears in their eyes. I listened to the podcast. It changed my life. It's the best podcast ever. Please never stop making it. Truly, we're doing God's work. This podcast was brought to you by DJ Michael Miguel and producer Corey. You guys are the fucking best. I love you so much. We're going to a bar after this. We're going to get naughty. Our theme song is by Javi. Robbie's the best. I'll see y'all later. Be tatted, stay tatted. I love you. Stay sweet. Bye.